What is going on, everyone? John here with Zach Myers, missing Paul. This is episode, 38 of season 2?
This is episode 38 or season 2, episode 5, I believe.
Correct. Paul's not here. I wasn't here last week, but we're going to plow through this.
We can't get all of us together, man. When touring starts, it's so hard. I almost thought about even changing the format to I was talking to Jelly Roll's wife because she was she films a whole season in 2 weeks and then she's done. But I was but we do news and current events. And she's yeah, we don't do that. We just talk. But then we'd have to be basically an exclusive interview show pretty much.
Correct. I mean, we could, I think part of the charm of ours is our opinions on news. It's really stupid.
Current events. Yeah. Like what?
Yes. You know. So my Spirit Talk, I'm 2 months ahead of the game. So I'm already through this next Shinedown tour through May or whatever. And so, because there's nothing really of news per se.
Yeah. But for us, if you're touching on it, it's nothing it's not immediate. You'll talk about something that maybe recently happened and get their opinion on it. But it's not we're not talking about stuff that happened this week.
We're not talking about Build-A-Bear launching a new line of adult-themed teddy bears.
Dude, that was my favorite tweet when that girl goes, "Are we absolutely sure that we haven't all died?" It's so crazy. Dude, that's so wild to think about that. I would love to be in the pitch meeting for that. I want to be in the meeting where the person's you know what we need? Build-A-Bears are for kids. We got enough of these kids. What about the adults who really want Build-A-Bears? And in my head, I'd be if I was in that meeting, I'd be none. No adults want Build-A-Bears because we already had Beanie Babies.
And I get the idea of maybe because my ex-wife, we used to do it all the time. We stuff our bears and dress them up. So if you're a couple, I kind of get it, or if you have kids. But the idea of Bethany and Zach going in there with Ollie and Avery and getting 4 stuffed animals for each other, and there's something weird to the idea of just looking, because one of the bears is actually, I think, a lion with a robe and I think a fake bottle of wine. He's laying in front of a fireplace.
All right.
It's dude, who are you showing that to? Simba?
I just, I don't know, man. Can you talk more about you and your ex-wife going stuffing Build-A-Bear? Stuffing them? What do you mean?
Yeah, we'd stuff each other. No, so the only time I've actually ever bought a Build-A-Bear is my ex-wife. We bought each other, but every time that I've gone by them at a mall, which we do a lot of days off, it's next to a Hot Topic or Things Remembered or whatever it is.
But it's not next to a Spencer's where they can just grab a dildo and put it with a polar bear.
Put it right inside a narwhal and just crank the hell out.
It's a narwhal. It's a regular narwhal Build-A-Bear, but has a giant dildo on its head.
Is that a sex toy yet? You think?
Hold on, we can find out.
Yeah, I'd be curious. Sex toy, where maybe
sex toy
that it's for 2 girls. The head's a dildo, and the tail flips up and down for the other female or something.
Narwhal sex toy.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
It says Narwhal toy. This is on Etsy. They ain't gonna have this. Glass Narwhal butt plug.
Done.
There is a Narwhal butt plug for sure.
Speaking of butt plugs, I was gone. I was gone. The Build-A-Bear butt plug. It's a scratch.
Anytime the word "speaking of butt plugs" comes up, and then you're about to say something else, I'm horrified.
No, so I was gone last week doing crew security for Rock Legends crew, and I do want to talk about that, but Zach had to go through the email. So usually I do it, filter through whatever. And this is the first time Zach actually got to look. Man, the stuff I don't read on here, it makes me nauseous and sweaty. And I felt bad because I didn't really give Zach a heads up on what he's about to open up here.
For backlog purposes, I've never opened the email. John did the email and like, I've never been on it. I don't know who sends these emails. I know nothing. So going into that email and like, here's the thing. All I read was the things that they were talking about for this past week. Like I didn't go read back any other emails, which now like I will never, that was my last time in that email. Unless you're not on here again. We have some psychopaths who listen to this podcast.
It's weird because like I don't think people realize, yes, we're crazy but we play characters on this podcast. And I think the characters you play just exacerbate kind of who we are in real life. Yeah. But some people send in stories, or it went from like life advice and dreams to people literally spending 3 paragraphs telling us about their sex lives with like, and it ends with, anyway, hope you guys have a great week. Just wanted to share this with you. At what point did somebody get comfortable? It's just crazy. Insanity.
I just, for me, I don't, you're right. It's like life advice and all these other things. Right. And, but then you open these emails and it's like almost people like venting to us about anything that they've gone, like whatever, which is fine. But then like, what I'm saying is like the people that we read on the air are fine. Like there's some stuff that we don't read that I'm just like, what is happening? Like, here's the thing. I knew like if we ask girls to tell us like creepy stories about dudes, like I'm one of those guys that I'm so aware of how creepy men are. Like, cause I have a lot of friends who are girls, right? And they'll be like, yo, like this dude like sent me like, whatever, soft dick pics, name whatever you want to name. Right. And so I'm aware of like how creepy dudes can be, but like some of the stuff we were getting, I was just like, oh, this is like, it made me like, I needed to take a shower.
Yeah. Like I don't need to know how you shave your vagina.
I don't know. That's not that bad.
Well, it's weird if it comes from a guy.
Oh, I don't need to know how a man shaved his vagina. Correct. I'm with you. I'm with you on that. It's a dark place, that email though. I will say like there's like one person who sends in like a bunch of emails that like, I only read a couple and I was like, all right.
It's like we're in the dark web but our little rowboat of sup is on top, floating on top of the dark web, like fighting off really dark shit. We're just on the top. And it's like, I'm pretty sure within next year at this time, we'll be doing off-market deals with Bitcoin through SUP. Like there's too much out there. I somehow think people, maybe you're right. We are an access point to the gateway to hell for some people.
I have to think we're the TSA to the gateway to hell. You got to pass through us. We're the metal detector that you walk through before you go straight to hell.
Shit. We're letting
everything through. Fucking pineapple butt plugs. We don't care.
I don't care.
Doesn't matter. Did you know? Yeah. I didn't know this. Did you know that there's a thing in the grocery store with pineapples to tell if you're a swinger or not?
What's that mean?
Okay.
What do you mean?
Just to make sure, I heard that if you're in a grocery store and you put a pineapple in your cart upside down, that means that's how people know that you're a swinger.
Oh, like an ID almost when you're in a public spot. Like
like if you're in a public spot, that's like you're like, I'm a swinger, that's your I'm a swinger t-shirt. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, maybe that, or if you're in the vegetable aisle sucking off a cucumber, staring at someone, they're probably telling you the same thing too.
What? Wait, so what? Hold on. Stop.
Hold on. What if you're going by, you don't tell Bethany you're at the store and you guys pass each other and you both got upside down pineapples?
Yeah, that'd be sick, dude. That would probably happen actually. No, I don't know, man. Like that's, do you say these things to your mom? Like the stuff that pops in your head is what I'm wondering. Does this stuff like come out when you're like talking to your mom or whatever? Like if you like, you just like say, not like wild sexual thing. I just mean like a lot of your ideas are wild. So
I just say them. I mean, I know enough to my audience. I'm not going to say it in front of my priest or certain people I respect.
Well, you're in Boston. You shouldn't say it in front of your priest because that guy definitely touched you as a kid. So let's be cool, man. Like you were molested as a child, dude. Come on. We all know this. I don't know what I'm going. My hair is like fighting me today. I don't know. It's driving me crazy. So last night, me and Matt went to dinner. I picked up my mom, and we went to this hibachi place that we love that we always go to. And on the way there, she goes, "Why are y'all making up stories that John worked at the Secret Service on the podcast?" I go, "What are you talking about?" I go, "Yeah, John was a Secret Service agent." She goes, "The John that I've met." And I go, "Yeah." She goes, "You're John." And I go, "Yes." And she goes, "There is no way he worked at the White House."
What does that even mean?
Because I think she watches the podcast.
Does she watch this?
She didn't watch the episode last week where we like talked about how you were Secret Service for a while, but like one of her friends, which is even scarier that her friends listen to the podcast and watch it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. John was in Secret Service. And I was like, yo, that's so wild to think. A, my mom listens to the podcast. B, that she really didn't believe that you were in the Secret Service. Like,
I think clue. People when they hear me on this, they assume you spent time in jail with Paul, yeah. or I sell.
Which we haven't even addressed that. This.
Maybe
season.
We talk about it.
Maybe we talk about. Maybe we make up. Like maybe we think about the reasons that he went to jail because we still don't know. He's never told me. I think it had something to do with fighting. It seems like it probably did.
Yes, it was fighting. Okay. Fighting and arson. It involved the hot air. The hot air balloon.
Well, listen, we've all been it. Who hasn't been in a hot air balloon fight?
Do you know what I mean? Do you buy your mom something for Valentine's Day? Like, what's the etiquette for that? Do you like?
I do. So I didn't this year because I was in Wisconsin for Valentine's Day. There's a local chocolatier, I will say, a local candy place here called Dinstall's. It's been around since the 50s, I believe.
Does he deliver chocolate to your house too, like the Popsicle Guy, or is this like a?
No, I gotta go get it.
Gotcha.
They make fun of me. I don't know if we've ever talked about why they make fun of me on here for the pop. They always bring up the Popsicle Guy, but they were staying at Kent and John were staying at my house one time, and they claim that 15 people were here in the time that I went to go vote, which I went to go vote less than a mile from my house.
There was a guy. I mean, there was at least 15 people that we saw in the yard, and I'm sure there's 2 people walking around the house. We saw a guy bring in bees into the yard.
Bring in bees.
He brought a beehive.
He was getting rid of bees. He was getting rid of bees.
20 minutes later, another guy came in to remove those bees. There was guys with machetes, Popsicle guys picking up trash, leaf blower guy, pool guy. There was just a random guy. I think he jumped to the back of the truck with the bee guy. It was the most insane. We're just drinking coffee, going, man, this is insanity.
So it was probably a Tuesday. If the pool guys were here, as a Tuesday, and then I guess on the same day the lawn people came.
It was a lot.
I had a guy delivering. So there's a company here in Memphis. We talked about this before. There's a company here in Memphis called Mem Pops, which are the best popsicles in the world, I think.
Yes,
and during the pandemic, they started delivering. And then after the pandemic, I just basically I kept asking the owner, I'm like, hey, can you just keep delivering them? He's like, yeah. So they've just kept delivering. So shout out to Chris from Mem Pops because they always take care of me and deliver. But yeah, that day was wild.
It's some of the flavors are amazing, from like the strawberry lemonades to
the Arnold Palmer popsicle from Mem Pops is the best popsicle of all time anywhere in the world. Anywhere.
Could you imagine if he's like, hey, this is Chris talking. My wife and I made these new flavors. What do you guys think? And normally he writes them on like the popsicle stick. What if you look down there like vagina? Like what? You're just like anus.
We're trying to go to anus. Anus popsicle.
Yeah. Is this Ayenoose? Is Ayenoose?
What is it? What's an Ayenoose berry?
Oh, he's like, ooh, Dad, these are really good.
I've never heard of a what's a vagina berry? Is that
yeah.
That's for us from Africa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A puss of fruit.
Oh my God.
It has like fish bones in it.
Puss Popsicle. I can't believe that was a very John thing to say. So yesterday I had somebody come out to look at my house for outdoor lighting, and because we were going to put a bunch of lights on the house and stuff because my house is very dark. If you can't see it, you can't see it anyway because you can't get in the gate. But when you drive by my house, it's very dark. And so we had a guy come out yesterday, and dude, so I don't have like traditional neighbors. Like all the neighbors are pretty far away, but there is a house that's across the road from mine, and the lady's name is Karen. I hope they don't listen to this podcast, but like, and they're cool. Like everybody who lives on the lake is cool, right? And she sent a picture to my wife of there's a white Tesla. It was the guy that was coming to work on the design for the house. Was outside my house for, I don't know, maybe 5 minutes. I was up here working. I didn't know that they were here yet. But literally within 5 minutes, sent a picture to my wife. I was like, "Hey, do you know whose car this is? Outside of your house?" I'm like, "I don't know."
Community policing at its finest.
Just mind your own business, maybe. You know?
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Like, what point? Well, it's the same people that cut up your Bethany's boxes and like stacked them for her and all. Like,
that was the Wisconsin house.
People get too involved. And
here's the thing. That's Denny, and I know Denny doesn't listen to this podcast because Denny doesn't know what a podcast is because he's in his 70s, probably in his 80s actually. What they did was they here's where Denny went wrong. We still love Denny, but Denny always assumes that we're gone because we're never at that house a lot. Well, one time Denny walked in the house to put our mail in the house, and he went and grabbed the spare key from the secret hiding spot that it's in under the rug. No, I'm just kidding. That's not where it is. But he knew where the key was and went and grabbed it and let himself into the house to put the mail in the house. Well, my wife was in the shower.
Oh,
when he did this. So to my wife, and granted, Denny didn't see anything. But still,
is there a chance that he said, "Hey, I'm in the shower. You can come in now"?
Yeah, there's probably a text somewhere that was like, "In the shower, anytime is good." You know, like, no, I don't know. It was just like a weird thing where like he like, you know, like, but I will say this, he shoveled, you know, we get a lot in the wintertime, you get a lot of snow and ice up there. I woke up the other morning and I was like, it's not even a town. Technically we live in a village. And, so we had to go and you got to like, you can't park your cars on the street at night, which we don't, we park them in the garage or the driveway, and then you got to shovel your part of the sidewalk. Like, cause that's just what you got to do. So I woke up the other morning and he had shoveled our sidewalk, which I thought was kind of nice of him. I thought that was pretty cool. But like, yeah, the time that dude, cause we were moving into that house, you know, we were getting all of the appliances and stuff ready. And so there was, I mean, flattened out, all flat. There was 4 feet of boxes flat. And dude, he cut, I mean, it had to be before 9 o'clock in the morning, came over, cut up every single box of cardboard. There's at least 40 boxes, cut them up into an 8x10 square and then ribbon tied them with like burlap, like rope. It was insanity because what happens is that because the town's so small, they won't, if you leave any recycling outside the trash can, like if you got more than what will fit in the trash can, they won't pick it up, which is kind of lame.
Gotcha.
So they'll just leave it there. So Denny, well into his 70s at least, cut up every single box into like little 8x10 squares and then did the thing.
God bless your heart,
Denny, man. I have a question. Have you started because you watch any show I ever bring up, you've already watched it.
Except, what's that one you would
Yellowstone.
Watch? No, I watched that. The one with Jason Bateman on Netflix.
Oh, Ozark.
I haven't started that yet.
I'm not caught up. I haven't even started the new season, honestly.
And I haven't seen the new season of Cobra Kai either.
I haven't either. So I got that. So I still have Cobra Kai. I got to wait for my wife to start Ozark. But, you know, we just finished Yellowstone, which I thought, are you caught up on Yellowstone?
No, I got last week's to watch because I was away.
It's so good.
I love it.
There's something I do want to talk about that later because one of my buddies told me something. But have you started watching Pam and Tommy?
The Sebastian Stan. I watched the first few episodes. And then I just got too busy. I want to finish it. I saw that Tommy was pissed about it, which I find odd because he's the one that okayed it, was actually a producer for the movie.
See, so is that true? That he's a producer? Because my buddy Jacob told me the same thing. And he was like, oh no, he's a producer on the movie. And I'm like, there's no fucking way he's a producer, because they make him look like a complete fucking imbecile.
Right. It is weird how they chose that part of it. I read that. I think I read that he was involved somewhere.
I'm looking. I'm on IMDb right now. I gotta find it, because like the girl who plays Pamela is great. I mean, Sebastian Stan as him is great, but like it's a pretty. I know Tommy pretty well. Like I know Tommy very well. Right. It's great a pretty big caricature. Sorry. Yeah. It's a pretty big caricature of who he actually is. Like he's not like, it's not always like, whoa, dude. Like it's very like, they make him look like a fucking dickhole.
Right. And I think the reason why they want people to watch it, the shock value, that small part of his life that they want to put into the microscope. But I don't know. I'm just curious how they fish it out or whatever. But I mean, I think it's, they look the part.
I'm on like, he's not a producer.
Is he involved in any way?
He's not involved in any way. Dave Franco's a producer, though. Seth Rogen and Dave Franco are both producers on it. Yeah, he's not. I don't think he's involved in any way. Because the other night, my buddy Jacob told me that. He goes, I think that he's a producer, and he was talking about Sebastian Stan. I'm like, dude, there is no way. Even if like you have the best sense of humor about yourself, there's no way you're gonna look at that guy playing you and go, oh yeah, this is fine. Because they make him look like a fucking prick.
Yeah. Which isn't the case. People talk shit about him.
I mean, it may have been back then. I didn't really. That was in the 90s. I didn't know him in the 90s. I met him early 2000s, I believe. And he's always been cool. You know, listen, I always call Tommy Forever 17, right? Like he's always going to be like a kid at heart. But like, I've never known him to be like the guy like they're portraying. And like they portray him as like a fucking idiot too. Like, I mean, this motherfucker has got like 3 brain cells. Like, and Sebastian Stan does a good job of it. But again, it's pretty pumped up in the sense of like his ridiculousness.
Right. Yeah. I'll watch the rest of it though.
I think I'm on like episode 5 or something like that. I'm not.
Who would play you in a documentary?
I don't know, man. You know, people used to always say that I look like Seth Rogen, which I don't. I've never gotten that.
I don't really see it.
People post a picture of me with glasses and next to Seth Rogen and glasses, like, oh, he looks like Seth Rogen. I'm like, I do not look like Seth Rogen.
I mean, more like Ed Sheeran.
I do look a little bit like Ed Sheeran, I guess. But I don't know if that's like a thing that like, I don't know if he would play me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to think of like an actor. Jeremy Renner, maybe.
Yeah, if he dyed his hair, maybe.
I think Jeremy Renner could be. I don't think he's like a super like tall dude or anything. I think we could.
Samuel L. Jackson, maybe you think?
Oh, listen, the guy's got range. Yo, so I was talking about this the other day. So what happened? So I'll bring up the Yellowstone thing because this is why I was thinking about this. Talking about people playing people outside of their nationality or race or religion or whatever, and playing a character that's not, you know. Yeah. Because right now, like, you know, Tropic Thunder is one of our band as a band. That's our favorite movie of all time. But you couldn't make Tropic Thunder today. Like they wouldn't let Robert Downey Jr. do that, even though one of the greatest characters in movie history, of comedic movie history, they wouldn't let him do that. I guess there was an issue with, if you watch Yellowstone, I'm terrible with character names for the most part, especially when I blaze through the series, you know, in 3 weeks. Casey's wife, the Native American girl.
Yep.
Apparently she's not Native American. Apparently she's Asian and looks Native American, but apparently like there's like some online petitions like trying to like uncast her because she's not Native American. Here's the thing. I get though people want to cast Native Americans in those roles, but there's not a lot of Native American actors that I can think of. There are, but I can only really in movies you always see the same 5-6 people. If there's a part for a Native American, that's who they're playing. I didn't know the girl was Asian. She looks very Native American to me. She blends into that role, I think, very well. My wife hates that character, hates her more than any character. But what I was thinking the other day is like, I made a joke and I was like, man, I could see this actually happening because Daniel Day-Lewis can play anybody. But we were sitting around the fire the other night and I was like, man, can you imagine one day, like you're watching a trailer and it's just like, you know, the build up music. And then you hear like I have a dream and like Daniel Day-Lewis as Martin Luther King Jr. because he could do it. He plays. I mean, look at the guy as Lincoln. Like I always say that there's only 2 movie characters I've ever seen in my life where I felt like I wasn't watching a character on a movie. One was Heath Ledger's Joker and one was Daniel Day-Lewis's Abraham Lincoln.
It would be fascinating.
I've been to the mountaintop and it's just Daniel Day-Lewis as Martin Luther King Jr. Dude, people be so mad, but there would be people like, he nailed it.
Yeah, you know what I mean? God bless his heart. Crushed it.
Crushed it.
MLK would be proud.
I was thinking about that the other day. I was just like, I can imagine like people that doing that, and you're like, oh yeah, this is he's gonna win an Oscar for it probably.
I think the biggest problem in Hollywood has been like the whitewashing, I guess you would call it, where a certain character should be given to an African American or Asian or Native American, whoever it is, and they just give it to whatever. And the people arguing for it are, well, we want the best actor, actress in this position. And I get that, but there are very qualified people, especially for me, when I read the comic books and stuff and see him break the film. Like in Doctor Strange, the ancient one was portrayed by Tilda Swinton. But in the comic book, she's an Asian man or an Asian woman or a man. I can't recall, whatever. But they whitewashed that character to give her. People are upset because it's not true to why don't they have an Asian person playing this person? Why don't they have a black person play? Why they gender swap and stuff like that? So I kind of see both sides of it. I'm all for giving the best person the job. But if the job calls for a Native American woman, if you tried your darndest to find this actress, and then you know what, you go to the next best thing and you make it work. But I don't think there's anything malicious behind it.
I don't either. I don't think there's. I mean, maybe back in the day there was, but I agree with you. Like, sure. I agree with you in the sense of that. Like, I don't like whitewashing stuff either. But it's the same thing as right. Like, I don't. You know. When they were making The Little Mermaid and they're like, oh, it's going to be this girl. I'm like, I don't care about who it's going to be. Don't remake The Little Mermaid. Like that's for me is like, I'm against remaking. You could cast the same fucking people that were in the first one. I'm against remaking good movies. I think if you remake bad movies and make them better, I think that's okay. I never liked the show 21 Jump Street as a TV show. The movies are fucking hilarious, right?
Oh, so that second one.
Dude, that second one, like very, very rarely is the sequel funnier than the first one in comedy movies. 22 Jump Street is leaps and bounds funnier than the first one.
So underrated.
Dude, that scene, the scene where Ice Cube, where he finds out he's dating Ice Cube's daughter.
Yes. Dude.
I was on the ground in the movie theater. Like that was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. But when it comes to that, like talking about picking a different person to play or whatever, like here's what I don't think people understand. I don't think this day and age, it's not, there's no malice behind it, right? I think what you got to understand is there's people who are putting up millions and millions and millions of dollars into this movie who have no really skin in the game. I mean, like producers of movies put in millions of dollars, sometimes hundreds of millions of dollars to make a movie. And so if there's not a character, or if there's not an actor that plays that character necessarily well, then you got to go with whoever the best actor is. because you want to make your money back. And it's not about race. As far as I know, I'm sure there has been cases in the past that were about race, and fuck those people. You know, if they're like, well, I'm going to put a white guy here because it's going to make me more money, then fuck that person. But I feel like if you do that and you're making a movie to make the best movie, and you got to make people happy because they want the best actor, then that's that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't, you know, I've probably seen 100 movies where a Mexican person plays a plays a Native American person. You know what I mean? Like, Hispanic people play Native Americans all the time in movies, and no one bitches about it. I think I'm thinking because of the Yellowstone thing it's such about, like, when you get to that arc of the story, whenever it switches to that arc of the story, it's so based in the roots of Native American history, and like, they do a really good job of telling the story about that, like, you know, about how, like, the Columbus Day thing is, you know, and all these things, and she's a teacher and she kind of teaches Native American history. It's really cool to see, and they do a good job of it. So to me, it's like, why would you even be upset about it? Because, like, they're doing a great job of representing your culture, right, and your people and your history. You know, that, you know, again, talk about the ultimate whitewash. We whitewash their history in every history book. Every history book I growing up, and I was like, Christopher Columbus, and now as an adult, I'm like, fuck Christopher Columbus.
Yeah, I wish he had COVID.
Yeah, you know,
imagine if Yellowstone was like, we got the perfect Indian for it. Was actually a guy from India or a girl from India. And they're like,
come on, it's Danny Trejo.
Yeah, it's.
Danny
I know that chest tattoo. I know that chest tattoo.
There's no way that Danny Trejo is Native American.
Yeah, is that machete? I don't know, in the wilderness over there.
If he's Native American, this guy's been typecast as the wrong thing for a very long time in his life. Did you see the Juwan Howard slap the other day?
I saw the slap. I saw the press conference. I saw the fine, but I heard him talk about what happened, but I never saw what happened to get him that agitated.
So the original,
he's a scary guy too when he's mad.
Yeah, he definitely looked pretty frightening. The original thing apparently is that my brother, I watched the video and I didn't see this, but I watched the video, and apparently what they said happened was that Wisconsin was up pretty big at the end of the game. And he called a timeout, which is, you know, again, it's not against a rule, but it's kind of a dickhead thing to do, right? So the thing that happened is that he walks up to the coach for Wisconsin, walks up to Juwan Howard, and from what my brother said was that he put, like, Juwan Howard didn't want to shake his hand, and that, like, he put his hand, like, in his chest. I didn't see this happen, but, you know, apparently that's what happened. I didn't see that, but, and then
the retaliation is
off.
Always the one that flagged. The retaliation is always the thing that gets flagged.
The referee never sees the initial.
No,
ever. The referee has never seen the initial contact. So
it's kind of especially if it's professional and you're a professional coach and you've got a professional team. You're all professionals. If you mess up, you mess up. But what are your, as a coach, especially for college kids that try to learn sportsmanship and teamwork and all this stuff, when someone like that does that, deserved or not, do you think it's a detriment to the sport? Like, what if Ollie and Avery 10 years from now?
It's not a good look, right? Like, it's not
right.
You know, it's not a good look to do that. But I'll say this: I just watched the video again. Apparently, Juwan Howard didn't want to shake I don't know the other coach's name, but didn't want to shake the other coach's hand. So he tries to walk by him and just say, whatever, good game. And the guy does grab his arm. I just watched it. And if a guy that's already hot like that, he's mad, he lost the game.
Sense of pride.
Yeah, he got pride. And then you called a timeout, which is a super douchebag move. And then you try to grab him to make you shake your hand. Like, that's not going to go well. But to me, when I watched the slap part, it certainly looked like that he, kind of like was trying to like grab at someone, and then someone's head was just kind of in the way. Like, he didn't mean to, like, if that guy's going to be in that moment, like, Juwan Howard's not going to open hand slap anybody. He's punching someone.
Yeah, especially him, how he played the league.
Yeah, dude. He
imagine this thing blows up to proportion where it's to the point where Daniel Day-Lewis plays Juwan Howard.
Oh man, that's a great made-for-TV movie. By the way, I would be super into watching that. Yeah. I mean, wasn't Juwan Howard on the Bad Boys? Wasn't he on the Michigan?
He was. He also was on Washington too, I think.
Yeah. I don't know. He's been suspended for the rest of the regular season, which I'll be honest,
4 games.
It's like 4 games. Yeah. Felt a little, I don't know, maybe a 2-game suspension. Like, they're just trying to make examples out of people, man. Like, that's the thing.
How long was like Ron Artest and those guys, or our guy with Charles Sprewell, when he choked out PJ Carlissimo or whatever, was he suspended a long time? Or has the suspensions changed over? Because I remember back like the Ron Artest fighter when Shaq pushed who was that guy? Not Vin Baker. Some of those guys back in the day, Kwame Brown or whatever. Like, it was a big deal. Like, oh, maybe a game. Now you knock out LeBron by accident or you elbow someone, they're talking, oh, it's got to be at least a week. So I'm wondering why the level of violence never really changed. It just seems the punishment got worse and worse. Why is that?
10 games for choking out Coach Carlissimo. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like now, because of social media stuff, I feel like they feel like they have to make an example out of people, which is a little bit weird to me. I feel like, but
Yeah, I don't know, baby. I mean, I guess you're right, because I saw that clip on TikTok through like a Facebook ad that I was just like, that's how I heard about it, because I didn't even watch the news or the ESPN that day. And yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe because everyone has such access to stuff happening in real time and posting about it that they have to reprimand people for it. Because you don't want that to happen. I mean, you don't wish actions like that to take place, but
no, but like, listen, man, I'm not a professional athlete, but when I play sports like that, I get in that same way. Like, I'm so competitive, and I can imagine that guy being an amazing college player, a great NBA player, and now he's trying to be a great coach, and he's got a program that's done well in the past. You know what I mean? Like, and he was on that team, right? Like, it's his alma mater. So you're trying to do good, but like, when you're in that moment and you don't want to shake somebody's hand, just don't, like, this guy who's a foot and a half shorter than him, trying to force him to shake his hand. Like, that's not going to go well.
And it's weird because he played in a league where you could really foul people and earn your 6th foul. And he never reacted that way before.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Never that dirty type of player. So maybe something was said. I don't know.
I wish they would have talked about what was said. I would have loved to know what the guy said. But he was just like, I watched the press conference. He's like, yeah, the guy called a play I didn't like, blah, blah. He tried to make me shake his hand. I didn't feel like it. And then it turned into what? But the crazy part was when everyone else started brawling around them. Like, yes. I love that. Like the after effects of something like that are always good, because you're all fired up. You're ready to go. Like, it's pretty amazing.
Have you watched any of the Olympics?
I didn't watch
news stories. Or it's so weird. I usually
watch one stitch of the Olympics. After the Super Bowl, my TV was still on, so I watched the monobob thing, or just one guy running with that thing. I thought that was okay, but yeah, I didn't watch. Maybe the first time in my life where I didn't watch one single thing.
It's weird. I mean, I watched some of the Shaun White stuff when I could, and the athletes I knew. But it just seems so weird, though. I don't know whether sports got too political, whether it's intentional or not. And it just got the drama with where it was being held in China and the COVID. And I felt bad. I feel bad for the athletes who couldn't really enjoy this moment because
it wasn't a real Olympics, right?
It's almost like weird.
It's almost like when the Lakers won the NBA championship in the bubble. Like, to me, there's an asterisk next to everything in this Olympics. Like, they weren't supposed to bring their cell phones. They were in fucking China. They weren't. There were so many rules, restrictions, and all this stuff to where it's like
they're trying to compete at a level where I assume outside of figure skating, where you're not screaming at the people cheering them on, that people live on it. Imagine shutting down 10 other bands have to go to like this tournament where it's you get to play to get the most crowd reaction and there's no crowd. And it's like, how do you do what you do without some of that interaction, without those flags waving, without like it just seemed you couldn't even go back to your coach if you're a figure skater without throwing your mask back on and all this shit. It's like, dude, I really truly felt bad for the athletes.
No, I can't imagine. And like, you don't, in the past Olympics, I'm sure you got to go and you got to have fun and you got to do all these things. Like
they would hand down condoms like you were bubble gum.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. For me, it's,
imagine being that one guy, especially with the Summer Olympics. You're like the captain of like the Cambodian team or like the Cameroon team and you're just like, oh, I'm going to sleep with like 8 different countries. Just like that competition where it's like, I'm going to be in an orgy with like, it's going to be like Ellis Island up in this bitch where it's just like people.
I mean, I don't know how much it was. Like, I bet they had curfews. I bet they had to stay in there. I mean, I'm sure Olympians have always had curfews in some way, shape, or form, but like, I'm sure the restrictions were crazy tight. But dude, you imagine just like what that would to do that though. You're either from a European country or you're from
you're French
or you're from America, where you're just like, I'm gonna sleep with like a bunch of women on different sport just to get in their head so they lose, but you can't do it with your own country, right? Because you can't get in their head. You don't want your fucking, you know what I mean? You're
like Michael Phelps, and like you're telling your teammate you gotta sleep with that Australian team girls, you gotta sleep with that French guy, get with him, get with his girlfriend possibly, sleep with that,
bang somebody else's girl.
Yeah, and then hold up signs while they're about to jump or dive.
You want them to fall apart in the middle of the games, dude.
Hold up the rubber and throw it in his swimming lane.
Oh my God. What is happening right now?
Imagine that.
No, I don't want to imagine that. Speaking of another thing in sports, all over the news today, I saw that Aaron Rodgers posted a very cryptic Instagram post, which I thought was really good. Him and his fiance broke up, but he posted this thing where it was like, I'm thankful for her, and like posted pictures of her, posted pictures of the team. And it was almost like I feel like now he's out of Green Bay. This is over.
Where's he going? Because Tom Brady's coming back.
I don't know. We got a special guest coming in though right now. Hold on.
Oh God.
Special guest. There he is, ladies and gentlemen.
Damn.
He hasn't came in. Come on.
He's probably still caught up on the Juwan Howard discussion. He's still stuck on Penny Hardaway.
Did you watch his Monday Night Concert series last night from 1992?
No.
Pretty good. So please run IV camp. This man is the guy who taught me. This is the motherfucker who taught me how to work my shit.
Yeah, his laptop has COVID.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on right now. Oh, that's cool. You look different.
Yeah, I love your word art.
Yeah, I like your ninja star. There he is. Look at that. You got a Traeger hat on, Daddy?
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, it's that Traeger hat, baby.
Traeger hat, baby.
Where do you think Aaron Rodgers is going?
Oh,
he ain't staying in Green Bay.
You don't think so?
No, not after that post today.
Was the post today about like his? I didn't see his post. I heard about the one from last night or yesterday about how he was thanking everybody, all his football people, is very, very thankful.
It was a really good post. He posted about Shailene Woodley, his fiance, now ex-fiance that just broke up. But he was like, listen, like she taught me a lot. Like, thanks for being in a relationship. Like, it was very adult. It was very an adult post.
It was very adult.
But yeah, I mean, it made it definitely sound like he's not,
It doesn't sound like he's staying there. It sounds like, I mean, it doesn't sound like he's staying there, but what are his better options?
Here's the thing. I don't think it's about better options for him. I think he wants a situation to where, which we've talked about this on the podcast before. Like, I feel like as more than any sport, maybe as a quarterback of a football team, I feel like the GMs still treat players like slaves. A lot, you know what I mean? Not that they're not slaves. I mean, these guys have great lives, but they're treated as employees. That's a better word. Yeah, they're treated as employees, and I think more than any sport, I feel like a quarterback should be in direct communication with the GM about who that GM hires.
Can see that.
You know what I mean? Like, and I felt like, I thought his press conference was really good when he was like, I would like to at least have a little bit of say of who I'm passing the ball to.
Yeah.
So what? Oh,
he
100, and most quarterbacks have for what they get paid or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I think a quarterback should be involved in those discussions, not just like, this is who we're getting, deal with it. And I feel like that's what he felt like was happening. But the post where it started getting, where it looks like, it says, to the men I got to share the QB room with every day, Matt, Nathaniel Luke, and he tags Jordan Love and Kurt Benkert, and he goes, you guys have made the day so much fun. I'm so thankful for the day laughs. You brought me every week of the year. I love you guys. Like, dude, that means...
That sounds very goodbye-ish.
Yeah, especially to the Friday crew and Randall Cobb and all the other people he tagged here. I don't know who they are. I loved every moment we got to spend together this year. Your love and support was overwhelming. I cherish the friendships I have with each of you. Now, this could mean that some of these people are moving on too.
True, but that certainly sounds like he's moving on. That doesn't sound like
I think so too. And now whether what's the better situation for him, I don't know, but I have heard that he was building a house in Nashville. But listen, we heard from a very good, reliable source who was a friend of mine who saw in the flesh Tom Brady and Giselle in Nashville checking out schools for their kids. That was a real thing that happened, but he didn't obviously end up going to the Titans. So
could you imagine that Facebook post and you looked out the bottom? He's like, "Oh, and thank you, Jerry the King Lawler, for all the years of friendship." It's like some random thing where it's like, "Thank you, Five for fighting for your music and getting." It's like, what?
Five for fighting.
I would like to thank Daniel Powder for writing the song "Bad Day."
Five for fighting and Vertical Horizon are going on tour this spring.
That tracks.
Yeah,
it's happening.
Is it Vertical with the two main guys? Because don't they not get along?
No, I think it's the lineup from like their biggest album, I think is what they advertised it as. So I don't know what album that would be. They've only done two, right?
Sean's not out playing bass with John Mayer right now. Here's the thing though. I think the original drummer, because I toured, we did that Zach Myers Band, Stroke 9, Vertical Horizon thing. And
damn.
Yeah, dude, bangers.
Good merch numbers on that.
I don't know what the merch numbers are, honestly. I'll tell you what, I'm looking at the Wikipedia page right now. Vertical Horizons had some, dude, they've had more members than Ingram Hill.
I mean, to be fair, Ingram hasn't had that many members.
Sorry. People play with them. How about that?
Yeah.
Because there's a lot. Sean Hurley, was the original bass player. Keith Kane, wasn't that the guy?
Yes, Keith Kane is the second guy, not Matt. Matt Scanlon is the main guy, right?
No, I know Matt Scanlon's the main guy, but Keith
Kane's the other dude.
He was the other songwriter guy.
They both sang songs and earlier on in there before the really big stuff.
Yeah, and then Ed Toth, who was the drummer for their biggest record when I was there, he plays for the Doobie Brothers now, which I knew because I saw him at a Doobie Brothers show. So that's kind of interesting. If they all get back together, I don't see that happening. But
they got two big hits, right? Two monsters.
Three.
They have two monsters, and they have more than, and then they have other hits on top of that. But
Everything You Want, Smash.
And Best I Ever Had.
Smash. What's the other one?
There's a God.
You're a God is a great song.
Yeah.
Fantastic song. All right, something happened at the airport the other day, and I was wondering how long this is going to be able to happen. I walked through, and then I got to the gate, and they did an announcement over the whole airport, and they go, if you're a woman who's left a bag of women's clothes and a carry-on bag at the TSA security point, please come get it. If you're a woman who has left a bag of women's clothes, I'm like, how long are you going to be able to say that?
I think that's state depending. If you're in California, you're not saying that right now.
Why? That's just a weird assumption.
What state were you in?
Right.
I was in Wisconsin. It was in Milwaukee.
Yeah, that's in Wisconsin. If you're in New York, California, that is not. I bet you they already don't say that.
If you've left a bag of clothing,
yes.
Right. If you have an X or Y or both chromosomes in your bloodstream, please pick up your shit.
I just thought, I was like, I heard it and like, It's crazy that we've been like almost like, oh, I'm gonna get in trouble for this, but I was gonna say the word indoctrinated enough to where like that's not okay to say. You know what I mean? Like it's not okay. Like usually, like you see a bag and there's like panties and like a spaghetti strap.
It's definitely John's.
It's definitely John's.
It could be Sean Zort's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. You could go, a bag of women's clothes. You can't say that anymore. I was like, they said it, and I was like, oh, that's bold.
Yeah.
So
it is wild that your radar goes off for that now. In 5 years ago, that wouldn't even have crossed your mind.
Yeah, it was very strange to even think about that. I thought that was very very strange. All right, so I gotta tell you this other story. So this isn't a gripe, but I almost beat the shit out of 2 preteen boys.
Sounds like a gripe to me.
Yeah. Well, here's why.
A fetish.
There's probably a search for that. That's how you end up on To Catch a Predator. So we were at a birthday party. One of our friends in Wisconsin, this guy Ryan, had a birthday party at this big swimming place. It was open to the public, but we had like a private room upstairs, and then all the kids went down to swim. So there's a locker room that you go in to change, and I have my kids with me, so like I'm getting Ollie changed while we go swimming. We come back. It's a party for like a 2-year-old, but there's a lot of kids around Ollie's age there, 5-6 years old. So we go in the shower Ollie off, go back out in the locker room, getting him dressed. There's 2 kids in separate showers, probably 13, maybe one 12, one 13, maybe the kid was 14, but I don't know. And they're like in the shower. Again, there's probably 8, 9 kids in here around Ollie's age. And they're like going, sucky.
Oh man.
And so like, I'm like, I push it down. Cause I'm like, I'm not going to jail with wet hair. You know what I mean? Like I'm not going to jail in a swimsuit. Like I'm going to cool out.
Yeah.
And they just kept doing it, and they kept getting louder, and and you could tell other people in the locker room were very uncomfortable, even adults that were with their kids. But it's Wisconsin, so everyone's polite. No one's gonna be the hood rat from Nutbush like me. So I noticed when my kid's uncomfortable, he starts getting closer to me, and he started doing that, and I was like, "That's a wrap." Like I could tell he was uncomfortable. So I waited till most of the kids left the room. It was pretty much only me and Ollie in there, and they were still doing it. So I go, "Yo, knock it off." And they did for about 20 seconds, and then they just kept doing it. So I go, and this is where I could get arrested. I fucking fling the shower curtain open on a 14-year-old boy. I go, "Shut up. Shut the fuck up now." And then I go to the other kid and I go, "You shut the fuck up too." This is a true fucking story, by the way. I kind of feel a little bit. Oh, it gets worse. It gets fucking worse.
It was actually Chris Alex.
I do. Yeah, Sean Zorn. He was actually 40. I just like he looks 15. Oh. So I was and they kept doing it. And then so literally I get Ollie dressed, and you can tell Ollie's still nervous. I go, "Hey man, I'm sorry I yelled in front of you." And he's like, "It's okay." He's like, "They were being mean." And I go, "Yeah, they were being mean." So I get him dressed, and then I hear, but I'm being quiet the whole time I'm getting him dressed. So I hear the younger one go to the big one. "Is that guy still here?" And I just walk back in there. I go, "Yeah, I'm fucking still here." Like I was so hot. So then get Ollie dressed, leave. There's a lady outside of the locker room sitting there with another kid. And I see my brother-in-law. So I go to tell him the story, and I'm like still fucking coming down, trying to get my fucking heart rate lower. And I hear the lady go, "Was it 2 boys?" And I go, "Yeah, they're in there." She goes, "I'm so sorry they're with me." She goes, "I run a group home." I'm like, fuck me. Of course. Fucking orphan little kids. Here's the thing though. And I felt bad about it. And I told my wife, I'm like, I feel like shit. She's like, "Listen, if they're like being like sexually explicit," and they were saying curse words too.
Did they know you were in there with Ollie? Like did they know a 5-year-old was around?
Oh dude, when they started doing it, there were 10, 11 kids Ollie's age in there. Oh, like it was a loud room. Like there was a lot of kids changing. There was a lot going on. So yeah, I almost beat the fuck out of 2 13-year-old boys.
Did you have the urge to go back in there and be like, at least I have a father, and then slam the page? You piece of shit.
Sorry, guys, I'm out here being a good father, something you guys don't know fuck about. And then
yeah. God no.
See this little 5-year-old boy right here? He's got a dad, and it's me. Fuck you two non-little dad having little bitches. Anyway, listen, learn your fucking manners. Don't be a little asshole in front of listen. And then, but the reason I felt bad was I kind of thought back to, I was fucking probably doing the same shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I don't know if I was.
That's the thing is that it's hard to relate
like
because you know, like when you think back, you're like, man, I was probably one of those idiots doing the same stupid stuff. I was probably
doing the same stuff.
And probably some adult like got onto us and then we giggled about it and kept doing it because you're teenagers and teenagers don't care about anything.
Yeah. That's true. And so, that's why I felt bad about it because I was probably the same kid. By the way, little kids, if you're watching this, we know you don't have a dad if you're watching this. But if you are, I'm sorry that I've cursed and yelled at you, but you were being assholes in front of a bunch of 5-year-old kids. And you know why I'm never going to be able to coach any of my kids' sports teams? Because I'm Juwan Howard.
Because you'll fight the other coaches?
I'll fucking fight everybody. Dude, I went to my nephew's game last week. And there was a coach that was like, it was like he was coaching like in March Madness. the kids are 9 years old.
Yeah.
And he's just like screaming. I'm like, this guy's fun. Like I couldn't be with this dude. Like I couldn't. This is not something I could do.
So you went to the locker room after the game and pulled back his shower and said, "You stop coaching."
John, do some dreams. Let's get out of here. I got someone coming over here to look at lighting on my house.
Of course you do.
John the Shaman, keeping you on track. All you gotta do is touch his big old sack of mail.
All right, so maybe this is a statement that we have to assess. It's filthy, but anyway, here we go. This is a male or a human. I want to open this up by initially saying thank you for just being you guys. I appreciate every ounce of energy you guys put into this because some days the show is the only thing uplifting me in the day. Oh, that being said, I am 22 and am and was in a relationship. It's kind of weird that we have people this young listening to this bullshit for 2.5 years at the same time with this writing. My family isn't much involved in my life anymore. God damn it.
These are the two kids that were in the shower. Yeah. And some guy came and yelled at me the other day, and I'm just trying to figure out how to emotionally deal with what happened.
I look young for my age. And
right. And Ed Sheeran screamed at me the other day looking at my My family isn't much involved in my life anymore, and even after trying to mend relations, they don't feel like family. The beautiful girl I'm engaged to has been in my life for coming up to 9 years. She has become my family. Her family became my family. Now she tells me she isn't happy with her life as a whole, and in turn, she wants to end our relationship. The day I'm writing this, she is supposed to decide if we're going to work together or not on this. I guess my question overall is, how does one go on from their first love that shared everything and healed each other's trauma to something else? But if she decides to stay together, the flip side question, I guess, would be, how do we work through this? Sorry to be emotional. If you get to this, thank you in advance. To John, I'll follow up afterwards in the following week if this airs. Awesome.
Bold of you to think it's only going to take a week. I mean, the thing about losing, most of us lost our first love, I feel like, that we thought was our first love in our teens. So in a way, you got a little bit of a disadvantage in that sense, but also in the advantage way, you're 22.
Yeah. Most of the people in my life at 22 are no longer in my life.
Yeah.
So most of them. Do you guys have a friend that you've known for the longest in your life that was with their partner is still together to this day? Like, what's the longest you've known of someone?
I mean, Justin's been with his wife since college.
Yeah.
He's 47. How old are you now?
I'm 52.
What?
I'm sorry, 57. Yeah, Ann and I have been together a long time. Zach Mack has been together with Jesse since like 19.
Yeah.
And they got married. They got married at 19. I didn't get married till I was 28.
Wait, why was he arrested for that?
No, I was just kidding.
But in general, most people that I know are not with the person they were with at 22.
No.
God, no. I know
You're
one
not the
couple.
Same. Here's the thing. At 22, you tell yourself you're an adult. When you get into your 30s, you go, I was a kid at 22.
Yeah. If you're, I'm embarrassed by my 22-year-old self. If when you're 32, if you're not embarrassed by your 22-year-old self, you either two things, you did not do 22 correctly, or you have not grown, or you're doing 32 incorrectly.
Right.
So,
yeah. I mean, I had just joined Shinedown prior to turning 22. So I was having a good time, but I wouldn't want my 22-year-old self as a father to my kids. Absolutely not.
Jesus. Same here. Absolutely not. And so, I mean, to apply it to that email or that question, that is the blessing, is that only 22. That does not, if it goes poorly or the wrong way, I mean, there's no getting around that or softening the blow. It's going to suck real bad, and it's going to be heartbreak, and it's going to take time. But
if he's 22 now, they've been together 9 years, dude. That doesn't even make sense. Like, how are you with someone
since you were 13?
Yeah, like what? Like that's
for sure your first love, though, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
You're doing that. That's a whole ordeal, you know.
Side question: what was the first slow dance you guys danced to, like grade school?
Probably Boys to Men.
I was thinking about this, that like doing the concert of 1992, there were a lot of slow dances from that. Maybe it could have been Bed of Roses by Bon Jovi. Could have been Everything I Do it for You.
Man, banger.
That was that Titanic song, I think. One of the first, Titanic.
You can't dance that. There's no real beat to that.
Slow dance.
It could have been Into the Road. I mean, like anything from that little. There were some such like power ballads from that era that were all middle school.
So many
slow
good
dance.
ones, dude.
Yeah. Seal.
Many good ones. Oh, dude.
Seal.
Dude, Kiss from a Rose is one of my little brother's favorite songs of all time.
And November Rain was always great because it's such a long song. You got a really good long slow dance.
Yeah, you could get up that T-shirt, baby boy.
Yeah, and then the end, it gets real intense. That's when you start.
Slow songs. It seems like slow songs have actually changed over time. Like you couldn't go to your kid's prom right now and hear November Rain. Like, so what took the place of November Rain that's out there right now? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
That's a great question.
I feel those songs are timeless. Like if I hear Bed of Roses now, if my shirt isn't off, it's coming off, and I don't know who I'm crowding up against.
It doesn't matter who's in your present company. Your shirt is coming off, and I'm dancing with somebody.
Those? Like, what are they? Is it Ariana
Grande? I don't know,
because
I don't know.
You know what's crazy is if you think back in that day, rock was just as big as pop, right?
Oh yeah,
it was just as big. And now that's not the case, you know. Hip hop and pop, and then country are kind of the main things.
But what are the all-timer pop and hip hop songs right now that like 30 years from now, that you like whatever a 12-year-old is right now, 30 years from now, they're like, oh, this song that doesn't exist anymore.
90% of the stuff that is big now will not live through the next 20 years.
Live through the next 5 years.
Yeah. You know, to where you listen to something like November Rain. I'll tell you what, though. I bet it's a Taylor Swift song.
Yeah.
It's a well-written pop song that gives you an emotion like November Rain or something like that. It's going to be a Taylor Swift song because she's really the only other than, or Ed Sheeran. What's the ballad?
Take
me into your love.
That's it. That's the one.
That's the one. Like that's
because that was like 5 or 6 years ago, right?
Yeah.
But that is, that's the big one that
Thinking
was
out
like
loud. Like that, dude. That is, loud. I mean, that's the most dance to wedding song.
Yes, you're right.
You know, yeah,
you're right. There's that one. That's the middle school jam but that's 5 or 6 years ago. Like what is being played at this year's dance that is like the Everything I Do it for You?
Like I remember even in high school, I had Vitamin C graduation. I'm just like, dude, this is my jam. Yeah. What do kids have? Fucking some TikTok thing, flash in the pan, 30 minutes, and no longer talk about it.
Yeah, I often wonder that. Because you know what I was thinking about too, that we got on the subject of this, so we're just completely getting off this guy's question.
Yeah, we've got like ruined this guy's question.
Like think about now, like country was big back then, but like there weren't nearly as many arena country acts as there are now. There's 25 arena country acts now. There were 3 back in the day.
Brooks and Dunn,
Reba McEntire, George Strait, Garth Brooks,
Shania Twain.
I don't know, man. My first concert ever was Tim McGraw, Little Texas, and Black Hawk.
Because Tim McGraw still actually puts out good songs on the radio. Right. I often forget how long Tim McGraw's been around.
Yeah, that was 94.
Yeah,
Indian Outlaw was 94. Can you imagine if Indian Outlaw was released today?
It wouldn't be released today.
Could not do that.
How about today. The band?
I'm sorry, did this man just say Cherokee and Choctaw and he's white?
My baby, she's a Chippewa.
Oh yeah, yo, bro, you are canceled.
They all gather around my teepee late at night just to catch a peek at me and nothing but my buffalo briefs.
Dude, what a banger.
Come on.
What a banger. What fucking blue-eyed white man was like, you know what? Wasn't that his first single too, or was it Don't Take the Girl?
No, his first single that made him a superstar was Indian Outlaw.
Ladies and gentlemen, introducing for the first time Tim McGraw singing the most racially cultural appropriated song. A white man with a mullet and a mustache and blue eyes. Tim McGraw singing Indian Outlaw to him. What?
Back when racism just really hit the spot with music. It was just so powerful.
I'll take who was
racism hit the spot.
I'll take Alex, I'll take who is neither an Indian or an outlaw for 500. Sorry we didn't answer your question, buddy. I hope you figure it out, man. It's love is a motherfucker, man.
It's a battlefield.
What is
True Love is Blind, Doug?
What movie is that? Love is a motherfucker, eh? Is that Hank Azaria that says that?
Episode of The Simpsons, I guess.
Here is a sex story from a male. I assume this is from your last episode, Zach.
All right.
Hey guys, love the podcast. So when I was 17, I went down on this girl.
Oh man, we've already lost him.
I just love like, hey guys, how's it going? Yeah, I'm going through a tough life. Anyway, I went down on this chick and it was my first time ever doing this. After a while of doing it, her moans got pretty loud. I thought for sure I got her off, so I started to make my way up to start fucking. I love these emails.
This is the kid in the shower for sure. Go ahead.
Yeah, for sure.
To start fucking.
She looked.
I made my way up to start. I made my way up to start fucking.
That made me snort.
What an aggressive way. Like, oh, make love. No, we're going to start to fuck. All right.
I made my way up to start fucking, not to fuck. We're about to start fucking.
Start the fuck engine.
Too.
Yeah. She looks me dead in the eyes and says, you're not really stopping, are you? I said, I thought you got off. And she says, you'll know when I get off. So I went back down and proceeded. After a few minutes, her moans got much louder than the first time. I was positive I got her off, so I started to slow down, and she starts moaning, don't slow down, keep going, and you'll know when I come. So I
Things always sound grosser when you say them. Like if I would have said that, it wouldn't sound as creepy.
So I speed back up, and after about 30 seconds, I felt a fucking geyser spew a fucking gallon of what I thought was piss at the time into my mouth and all over my face.
Said you would know.
I moved as fast as I could, not knowing what the fuck was going on, and she continued to erupt for what seemed like forever. I had never heard of a squirter before this. I had the holy grail of a woman in my bed when I was only 17. I was in complete awe at the time. I don't know what to say. We ended up screwing a few more times after that, and I knew if I got her off also. LOL. Man, could you imagine going down there? You're like, fuck, man. You're not thirsty, and then you just have to drink that up. Or like, do you guys have to hydrate before sex?
No.
Hydrate? No.
Yeah, like. Okay, I was just curious.
Doing,
imagine you're really dehydrated. You're like, man. And you're super dehydrated. You're down there like, oh man, I'm thirsty. And all of a sudden, it's like, oh fuck, I'm full.
I'm full.
Could you drink that?
No.
Well, I mean, that's
like drink anything if you're not a pussy.
Yeah, I mean that's in the, it's the same thing as a girl performing fellatio and how that finishes out, and the age old question.
Yeah. Has everybody, at the risk of not getting Jared more divorced, has everybody in this room been with someone who escorted? All right.
Not that aggressive.
All right. Anyway, this was the most awkward pause of my life. I'll tell you this. The first time it happens, if someone doesn't tell you that it's a thing that happens to them, you certainly feel like you got pissed on. You're like, what just happened?
I guess because it's hot liquid.
It's hot liquid, and there's a lot, and it's thin. There's a lot of it, and you're just like, okay, what is this? So I can see where that would be a thing.
Is it up to the girl is it courteous of the girl to say, hey, just in case this happens, I'm not leaking. Like it would be. I'm a scorter. Like, or do you just let the?
Here's the thing, though. I feel like a lot. That's a weird thing to say before you start. If you're like already making out, you're like, oh, by the way.
But this could get messy.
Yeah, you just watch Finding Forrester and Hunting. You're like, hey, by the way.
Do you have this queen?
By the way, do you have a tarp? I would have
No one not who's ever toured with a band is going to know what I just said right there. I just realized.
A little, yeah. This queen's pretty, that's a narrow.
Hell yeah.
Do you have any painter's drop cloth here?
Yeah. Dude, guys who are stagehands on festivals are going to love this podcast right now. You guys got any Visqueen?
Yeah, for sure.
I was going to say garbage bags or tarp, but Visqueen is the one I hear the most. So. You guys got any Visqueen?
I would say that like, for the gal like that, being as confident as she was, be like, you're not done. You'll know when I'm done. I feel like
lying.
She wasn't lying, but I feel like at 17, you kind of have to let somebody know, because especially if he's unaware that this kind of thing even exists.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you there.
But as an adult, I think you just kind of have to notify.
Yeah, you.
What's the equivalent a bail would happen? Like, what's the equivalent? Like, if a guy did something, girl, like, oh, sorry, I shit the bed, or sorry, I can't stop coming. Like, what's the equivalent to that for a bail?
I think you got it, man.
I think you hit it.
Sorry,
you got it.
Sorry,
it's kind of like a syndrome that you fart every time you sneeze.
Right.
The other way that you. You crap every time you
I'm come. Always so afraid of farting. Dude. I'm so afraid of farting in those moments.
How'd you know? Especially when you're laying on your stomach, Zach.
We actually have a what the fuck, man? Do you have anything else?
No, I'm good.
I got my first gripe.
Gripe after that.
My first gripe is fuck John.
You better watch out. You better be nice, or you might find yourself in Zach's gripes.
I hate John. That's my first gripe.
My first gripe is being pegged. Right?
The noise that Justin's nose just made was gross. It sounded like a fart. It was like really weird.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Anyway.
Okay.
Okay. I got a couple. We'll just do them quick because I gotta go. Why do pilots still have to wear those hats? You're crying.
I am crying.
Why do pilots still have to wear those hats? Like, it's not the 50s anymore. Like, why they have to put those fucking stupid ass hats on every time. Why is
they're
that
like they're the last holdout, of the whole, the beginning of the airline industry where the flight attendants all dressed really nice, and even the passengers wore suits and dresses.
I missed that.
When you flew, I think the pilot is like the last little stitch of like professionalism, but like not even professionalism, like pilots just kind of held in a higher standard kind of thing. It's almost like dressing as an authority figure.
Yeah, like
that's what it is.
I was on a plane. Like every time they get up, they put that hat on, and I'm like, why do they still have to wear the hats?
Honestly, I feel better if a guy dresses like that with the hat than if like he was dressed like me or you and flying the plane.
He said Eddie
right, he had like a backwards like Chicago Bulls hat on.
Yeah, backwards Chicago Bulls hat.
Right. Ed Hardy pants and Crocs.
He's like 747 for Delta.
Yeah,
motherfucker looks like Guy Fieri.
We're in
He's like, all right,
Tallahassee,
guys,
boys.
we're going to Denver. I'm like, no, we're not.
I think I do. It makes me feel more comfortable, this dress code. I think so. I don't know. I kind of have to disagree with you.
That's just a generalized question. Secondly, but it's not really great, but it's, dude, restaurants and offices, when they don't play music, is the most awkward. I don't know if there's a more awkward situation for that, but I can't think of one. Because like anytime you're in a restaurant and it's just dead quiet and all you hear is people eating, that shit is weird as hell. Like no music, zero music.
You know what's weirder to me is when you go to a place that has music and you go to the bathroom and they don't put the music in the bathroom, and so it's dead silent in there, and so you hear all the bathroom noise in there.
That doesn't bother me as much.
And you need a little bit of like background noise to like cover up all the stuff you're doing.
That doesn't bother me as much. It's more than when you're eating and it's
what
just
if you're in the bathroom and you
quiet.
heard someone? Yeah.
What if they only play music in the bathroom?
I'm with that. I'm fine with that.
I don't like the sounds. I don't like the sounds of.
Did you notice? And like this happened like a couple years ago, when Target started playing music in the stores. Did you notice that, or did that bother you? Because I hate it. I used to think Target was so quiet and calm and relaxing, and now they play pop hits all the time.
No, I don't think
I feel like I'm an Abercrombie.
I don't think I noticed the switch. I don't think I did.
There's also a Walmart that's kind of like not in the best part of town, and only in the parking lot, not inside the store, in the parking lot, and through these like cheap PA speakers that you would see like at a high school football game in 1987. They play nothing but like soft rock classics.
Hell yeah.
It's just like Don Henley and Linda Ronstadt.
It was Austin P. Which Walmart is this?
Winchester.
All right, fair.
Yeah.
I even mentioned a better neighborhood than that.
It does not make sense.
All right, this is my last one. And I know for a fact, J.R. Moore can relate to this. When I leave, everybody has smart TVs now. It's like where all your apps are actually on the TV. When I got to start changing the account on YouTube when I leave my house. Mm-hmm. Dude, my kids have ruined my YouTube algorithm.
Yeah.
Here's what's on my YouTube algorithm. 90% of the time, 99% of the time, cooking stuff, live shows from bands. That's it. Now it's fucking Dude Perfect. It's hunting video. Every time I get on there, a video of Aaron Lewis hunting with a fucking bow. I'm like, dude, what is this?
Don't let them get into hobby kids.
And then they're like, no, my kids are weird. Like I actually like the shit they like, but like, I don't want to fucking watch it. I don't want to have to search. Like I got to search stuff now. It's not coming up in my homepage anymore.
Sure.
But now, we play this game Hunter Call of the Wild on Xbox. It's literally just dudes, Twitch videos of dudes playing Hunter Call of the Wild. That's all it is. It's all like my whole shit. Fortnite. I'm like, well, I don't know, or hunting or fishing, which I like, but I'm like, dude, I gotta search the things I want to watch now, and I forget what I want to watch.
I had to make a dummy account that just basically for them, so that it wouldn't mess up my algorithm. Same one on Spotify. My Spotify was like, hey, you must really like Huggy Bear and TV theme songs. Here's Spider-Man in 17 different versions.
My kids, they like to listen to rock, and I don't. I like to play it, but I'm not trying to get in my car and listen to it. And my kids love to listen to it. So like now when I get in the car, I'm like, Siri, play some music. And it's like, Disturbed. And I'm like, listen, there's a time and a place, but not when I'm trying to listen to Jackson Brown. That's not the time and the place for this. You know what I mean? We need to get Dave. We need to get Dave on the podcast actually. Because he's a very interesting dude. I would like to. I'm going to text him. We'll get him on next week. Those are my gripes. J.R. Moore, thank you for jumping on.
Oh, you're welcome. Did you tell everybody about your how you look just like that little kid playing baseball?
You're gonna put it in here anyway.
I just needed a reason to bring it up so I could put the picture in here.
Somebody tagged me. I have to go. Somebody tagged me in one of the Shinedown forums on Facebook and said, my friend sent me this picture of his kid and said it looks exactly like Zach Myers or whatever, and then said, they thought it looked exactly like me. And I sent a video to my friends of me screen recording it, and I was just going back and forth between the kid and me. Back and forth. And then I just sent a video of me going like this because I didn't think it looked alike, but apparently everyone in our text group did. And within 30 seconds, they had replaced my face on the kid's body and the kid's face on my body. And the picture's hilarious. And he was going to put it in here anyway. Didn't matter what. So that's what happened. And it was, then I posted the picture that they made on the page and I go, my friends are idiots. Is literally the post that I made. So, all right, we won't do any news today. I got to go. Thank you, J.R. Moore, for joining us. J.R. Moore needs to come on here more often, except for he's got kids running around all the time, so he can't.
Yeah, it helps to do this during school hours.
Yeah, because normally we do it on a Sunday or Monday. So.
We can't talk about gallons of geysers.
Geyser gallons.
Geyser.
Oh, you missed the anus popsicles before we got on here, too. Ladies and gentlemen, John was saying that's the new Mem Pops flavor. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have any weird stuff that you want to send us that would probably get you arrested by law, which is what it looks like when I looked through that email address for the first time last week.
Yep.
Email us at suplifeadvice@gmail.com. John, what's the email?
suplifeadvice@gmail.com.
Be sure to check out J.R. Moore's Monday Night Concert series that has been going on for 7 years. He has the longest running what's the word I'm thinking of? No,
live stream?
No, what's the residency? But it said his residence where he does it, so it's fine. Check it out. Please subscribe to the YouTube and like and subscribe and click notifications and all that good stuff. And we will see you next week, nerds. And I get to go to Savannah tomorrow to do something really cool. Maybe we'll talk about it next week. But all right, see y'all later.
I know.
Later.